A very good afternoon to one and all who has joined in with us today. Sometimes technology bites you and it bit us today. We apologize for the same and it's okay, we will start afresh. I, Umang, on behalf of Chandigarh Group of Colleges Janjheri, extend a very warm welcome to all the attendees of this webinar organized by the Faculty of Management. Today, we have gathered here to talk about the sales and marketing strategies and building career in sales field under the Center of Excellence for Modern Marketing. To address the students about the same, we have with us today Ms. Megha, who possesses an expertise in the field. Ms. Megha has been working in Hotel Park Plaza, Zirapur as Head of Sales and Marketing since 2019. Awardee of the Sales of the Year Award in 2016 and many Bravo certificates, Ms. Megha has assisted her firm in the development and implementation of annual sales plan. And she has also worked closely with the senior management to identify and drive focused activities on elements of business. We are honored to have you with us today, ma'am, and we look forward to learning the sales and marketing strategies from you. Over to you, ma'am. You may please unmute your mic and switch on your camera. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Umang, for the wonderful introduction. And so today I'm going to talk about the sales and marketing strategies. I would like to start it with a small video I wanted to show you. So it's from a person called Mr. Jason Nazar. He is the CEO co-founder. And so we'll start the video first, and then we'll take it forward from there.
Deal with decision makers. You always want to try to figure out ahead of time who are the people that actually can sign off on your deal, and spend more time up front getting to the right people, because I promise you will save you a lot of time on the back end of the deal. Number 3, only pansies are not prepared. What do I mean? Find everything out there is to know about the company, the people you're dealing with. Use LinkedIn, read articles. The information is out there. You've got to be bulletproof when it comes to being prepared to talk about your potential business development deals. Number 4, ask, don't talk. The single biggest mistake that we make in business development is we tell everybody about how great we are, our products and services, and we don't ask them, what are you looking for? What do you need? What are the problems you're trying to solve? Always start off by asking other folks what they need. Number 5, provide as little information as possible. When you do this, it's when people say things like, oh, this sounds kind of interesting, send me some more information and we'll go from there. Guess what? They're not interested. They're just trying to find a way to push you off. So until you've really got buy-in from somebody and they want to know more about your product or service, don't spend a lot of time putting together complicated decks. Number 6, a picture is worth 1,000,000 words. So when you get to the point that you actually do send somebody information about your company, your product or service, don't send a deck with lots of text in it. Send pictures that show examples of what it is you're actually going to do. They'll go a lot farther way to getting your business deal done. Number 7, manage the follow-up process like they are a kid at a summer camp and you are their counselor. You want to set up the times to talk. You want to tell them what things you need from them. You want to be the person pushing forward all the communications and setting the rules of that exchange. Why? Because they've got 1,000,000 priorities, and you've got to manage that process like you are going to take control of everything. That's what you need to do to get it done. Number 8, persistence and pressure leads. There are so many competing priorities that we all have during the course of the day that if you're not constantly persistent about getting the business deal done, it won't happen. You need to do it politely, but you need to keep pushing on that deal. Number 9, keep the excitement up until the deal closes. A lot of us are great when we're coming up with ideas for deals and we're excited. This sounds great. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, guess what? Then it goes back and forth over emails. It goes to lawyers. You get into the details and the minutia. That's where it needs your most energy, not at the beginning of the process. because those are where a lot of the deals stall after you put in all the time up front, try to open up those doors. Number 10, the most important, is the sale begins after the deal is done, not before. Yeah, we did a lot of great work. We signed our name on the dotted line, but now comes the real challenge of exchanging value, helping our partners company, making revenue. That's where the business development sales process starts, not where it ends. And if you remember those 10 tips, I promise you're always going to be better at BD than all the other folks.
So these 10 points were the points which I've covered all my 10-year career experience I have in sales. So I'm sure you've got to know them. So now we will start with the presentation. So as I say, you've got the whole world in your hand. That means that each individual knows about 10 people. So if we connect, each class would have about 100 people. So 1,000 connections made in one class, and you would have connections with people overseas, all over the world. So that's how we connect hands and we become a big team. Boiler room. So everybody's in a boiler room nowadays because of the pandemic. We've realized that it's not only a part, it's become a part of the life. So we need to, we need to learn how to survive in the boiler room. What exactly is business development? So it's bringing discontinuity into the normal operation of organization, developing new things that we did not do before. So even if we speak about hospitality, after the pandemic, we have made a lot of changes in the style of service and food production, which was the need of the hour. Exploring the unexplored arenas, we are exploring new arenas every day, enhancing the business pie. So again, I would connect it to pandemic. Because of the pandemic, the regular business which used to be generated has changed. So we've had to find new sources of business, hunting new customers, new segments, new markets every day. The path, you have to find your path. So you have to ask these questions to yourself, that where are we now? Where do we want to go? How do we get there? What is the way forward? These are the questions which has to be self-analyzed. How do we get there? So there is the point is big. It's the fish, new customer, new needs. The funnel is big. So you need to figure out. So new needs is the resource allocation, and new segments and markets needs to be found. Existing need, we need to understand what are the existing customers have, what are their requirements, what are the developments we need to make to keep them with us. This is the funnel. So you need to scan. Then the qualification has to be done, and then the transition would happen. So this is the biggest theory, 5 wives and 1 husband. So business development is the husband, and the wives are how, who, what, where, when, why. We need to ask these questions regularly to us, that how, when, what, where. Then we need to know that where we can generate the lead from. As a salesperson, it's the key thing. Where can the lead come from? So we need to scan the territory. We have to have the industry database, for which we need to go through newspapers, state journals. We can go online. Industry fairs have to be attended. Then business cards have to be taken care. We need to have paging boards at the airport. So paging board is basically a board which is to check that who's coming, who's traveling, which company person is traveling. Then banquet footfall is seen, recirculation is done. Estimate, you have to qualify, you have to understand the potential. So penetrate account, decision maker, bookers, influencers, gatekeepers. So as a salesperson, I would tell you that the gatekeeper plays a very, very important role. So he's the one who would give you the entry access to a company. So you need to have a very good relationship with him. Hand over accounts to fellow team members. So you remember that there's a kitty of, if 200 accounts are there, 4 will eventually grow. So whenever you start doing it, you need to understand that you did not get demotivated. You will go to different accounts, and initially only few would be able to generate it. Way forward is that how to operationalize the business development action plan and a strategy needs to be made for it. Dedicated resources have to be there. So there has to be a business development champion for the same. An existing team has to be created. So this is all I have as a presentation. But the sales and marketing strategy, as said, so the most important thing which has to be taken care of, we need to know the customer need. That's the most important thing. We need to listen. We need to know what they require. And we need to know that how we can meet to their demands. And listening is a very, very important skill. So you have to be a very, very good listener. Let them talk first and tell you what the requirement is. And then we propose an answer only once we know what their requirement is. Umang?
Yes, ma'am. So by the time you were showing your presentation, we had a few questions from the students. So I would like you to answer those questions. So we have a student, Priya, from MBA, and she would want to know that what is a good way to start a career in sales with no past sales experience?
Okay, so I would like to tell her that I myself didn't have a sales experience. I was from a food and beverage background. So I started my career as a stewardess. So the most important thing is that you need to have confidence in yourself, and you need to know that you can do it. And if you have that, you can do it.
Yes, ma'am, that's true.
And one more thing I would like to tell her is she needs, I'm sure she has good communication skills, but the one thing which is very, very important is she needs to enhance communication skills, and she needs to be a good listener, as she'll succeed in sales with both.
All right, ma'am. Okay. So we have another student, Rahul. He's from BCom, third semester, and he is asking which is a better job, sales or marketing?
See, both have their own pros and cons, and nothing is like a good or a bad job. Both jobs are very good. It depends what is your passion. What do you want to do? And one thing I'll mention is grass is always greener on the other side. So whichever you do, you will always find the other one being better.
That's true, ma'am. Okay. So which one actually do you like? Like, I would want to know that.
I like sales more, so I have a bent of sales more than the
Okay.
marketing. Though I think
Any
marketing is a more interesting job currently because you get to learn a lot of more about the social media, and you need to meet a lot of influencers and hire people for this. But still, because initially I worked for sales for quite long, so my passion, I would say, is
in
sales.
fact, digital marketing is a new trend these days.
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay, ma'am. All right. Let's move to the next question. This question is from Sakshi, and she is the final year of MBA. And she is saying that after doing MBA in marketing, what are additional sales or marketing courses which can boost my career?
So there are a lot of online courses. As you said, the digital marketing is booming. So I would suggest she should do a digital marketing course. She should also do a course on SEOs. SEO is basically your Facebook. Insta has these SEOs in it. So she can do those online courses. It would really, really help, especially SEOs with Insta and Facebook.
Okay. All right. Then we have the next question from Sahil. He's also from MBA, and he is asking what is the most important attribute required for a sales job?
The most important attribute required for the sales job is the knowledge of the product. So whatever you are, whichever sales you want to join, like a company, a hotel, or whichever, you need to know the product. So that's the most important attribute. Know your product, because whatever there'll be multiple questions the consumer would have. So to answer them and to fulfill the requirements, you need to know your product. And of course, second, you need to be confident about it. So in case if you flutter here and there, you should be confident enough that it makes you go ahead with it.
All right, ma'am. Okay. Then we have another question that for service industry, is there any different sales strategy that should be adopted?
Sales strategy is the same for everyone. So if you take it for the sales, the hospitality, or you take it for the insurance sector, you take it for any other sector, it is the same. So everybody is selling a product to a consumer. The product varies, but the strategies remain same for all the segments all over the world.
All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, I would also want to know from you that how has COVID impacted the sales industry?
So we've had a huge impact of COVID in the industry because initially all the corporates, I would talk about hospitality because I'm working within hospitality industry. So almost all the corporates are closed. There's no movement of no conferencing, or I should say the bigger meets happening. We had a big medical conference which was supposed to happen in April, which was we were hosting about 2,000 doctors, and which didn't happen because of COVID. So yes, it was a difficult time, but I think we were the pioneers to do the first banquet event, and then initially things started getting better, and now things are getting better day by day. We are coming out of it. So I think the one thing which I've learned from this period is that one needs to keep faith and hope.
Right, ma'am. Of course. I'm sure many students who wanted to make career in the sales field, they all must be very scared, but I'm sure that your words have motivated them now since you have told them that they need to keep faith and things should be fine. In fact, we all are hoping that things would be very fine.
The people who want to make their career in sales, and they should not get demotivated, because not in any other career, I mean, if they're thinking of going with any whichever field, they should not, because things are improving day by day. We are dealing with it every day, so we know that things are getting better, and I'm sure by next year, once the vaccination is there and things are better, things will improve.
Yes, ma'am. I hope the same. Okay, so ma'am, the next question is, which I'm sure that is a challenge for all the people who are into this industry, how to convert leads into actual sale.
So, to convert the leads into actual sale, firstly you have to listen. So, listen to to the the consumer, what is their requirement. Second most important thing is you need to build a relationship. So don't keep in your mind that you have to close the lead. So if you think that the consumer is there and there is a lead and you have to close it, it will never get closed. So you build a relationship, business will follow automatically.
Okay, so relationships play a big role.
They do. They play a very big role. I have guests in the hotel which I know from past 6 years, and they keep coming back again and again for different events.
Since
So
you build a level of trust and transparency, so I'm sure that has happened with the guest. Okay, all right. Ma'am, what is the scope of business analytics and sales? This has been asked by Gagandeep from MBA second year.
He is asked what is the scope of
Analytics in
business
sales.
analytics. It is it has a very important scope, because we are here and everybody's, if you've seen the presentation also, it was more of the business development. So business analytics is correlated to sales, and that is the most important part of it.
Right, ma'am. Okay. All right. We have another question, that is how to influence the customer to buy our product.
See,
Power of influencing.
so I said that the questions are correlated. So I before also answered this. This is, I can understand they're all correlated to each other. So you
Right.
don't, as I said, you can't they are, you have so much of competition. There'll be so many people who would be selling the same product to them. So you don't have, it's not more of an influencing. You will have to listen to them, understand the exact requirement they have, fulfill the need, build a relationship, and that's how you'd be able to close it. There is nothing as such that you can influence them. The only thing you can influence them is with your dedication and your reward. So how quickly you get back to them for whatever queries they have will make the deal close.
Okay. So, ma'am, I'm sure there is a lot of research that goes to know the possible clients before you actually make a sales call. So, what happens in the research? If you could please enlighten us with that.
So what happens is we have literal maps. So we get all the maps of the geographical area. All the geographical area is defined. Each geographical area is marked. From that, all the potential accounts that is taken out. So, for example, if there are 500 accounts in a particular geographical area, we see that which segment can produce for us. So those accounts are divided into different segments. Segments is as such like banking, then there is insurance. These are these different segments. Then there's manufacturing segment, electronics. So different segments. So it's divided into segmentation. And from there, we take out from 500, we take out these 200 companies which can produce for us according to their segmentation and their history of doing business in this city. And from these potential 200, we divide them area wise then, and then we go on Google, study about the company. We study about their CEOs, about what they do, what are they into, their product, and then we take out the numbers of the reception. We call them, fix an appointment with the booker, and that's how we go and meet them. So booker is a key person at a corporate office who gives generates business for us.
So, it's a big procedure. A lot of things go into meeting only the other person.
Yes, it does. So sometimes it seems very simple that, a lot of people feel that it's not only here, but I would say everywhere, everybody feels sales is the most simplest job. They have fun, they go out, they have fun, but that's not the case because we have to do a lot of back end work to even arrange for one sales call.
Of course, I understand now. So, do you think that that is the reason that students fear to opt sales as a career?
That could be one. I don't think that's one of the reasons because I don't think they are they're not aware of it. Because when I became a part of sales, even I was not aware. I could see the greener grass on that, and I said sales is an easy thing. But I think people fear because there's a lot of fear created that it is very difficult to sell. So end of the day, they feel that there'll be a lot of high targets and they'll not be able to match those targets, and that's how the fear comes in. I think it's more of the target fare that is there.
Okay, ma'am. And if there is a negative customer, let's say who is very negative about everything that you are, if you're trying to convince him, also then also he's negative. So what can you do to make transform his negative behavior into positivity, and how do you convince him to at least listen to you?
Firstly, whenever a negative customer comes, you need to generally what happens is when he is talking, a lot of other people, they start interrupting in between and saying that no sir, this is not the case, we are good, or we are, we're doing it right. We're not supposed to do that. So we need to listen to him. We need to understand. We need to understand that why is he so negative about the product. So we need to understand. Once he talks and he'll explain it in between, we'll get to know why he's so negative about our product. That's why he doesn't want to do business with us. And once we listen and we are clear why he is, he will give us a chance to talk, and to we can take those points, but we'll have to prove it to him that all those points which he thinks we're not capable of, we are capable. So one by one we need to explain him those points. But we, with this kind of customers, we need to be patient. A lot of patience is required.
So patience is the key in this case.
Yes, and we will have to take time also. The time is another thing. So it will not happen that he comes and just in that one meeting the table will turn over. It would not. So slowly and steadily, from a negative customer, he'll turn into a positive customer. But patience and time is the key.
Of course, and I think we would also need to empathize with the other person.
We do. Okay. So we are generally what happens is whenever somebody so negative comes in, there's there's a tendency, a human tendency, that we sometimes get argumental with that person. We tell him no, that this is not right, we have a better product and things like that. So we should not do that. We need to empathize. So if he's saying that that's the case, you have to agree with him, so that later you can change his point of view to that thing.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Okay, ma'am, students are very keen to know that which subjects did you choose while you were studying?
As I said, I did my hotel management. So I studied food and beverage services. I studied production, and I was very keen on food and beverage services. I started my career as a stewardess with Rajvilas. And then gradually, when I started working with Lee Meridian, there I was shifted to sales, and that's how my sales career began. And after that, I did my MBA. So I was from a total different field and I entered into sales.
Okay. And now you have a successful career. You have
Yes.
been getting so many awards for sales. That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Thank
That's
you. So
brilliant.
that's why I keep telling people, like a lot of people who even ask me here, that everything can be driven with passion. So it's that you should have that passion to do, like you should have that passion to do that thing.
Of course, ma'am, of course. Ma'am, students sometimes get confused, and Sayed Amiri is again a first semester student of MBA. He says that we study so many subjects during these 2 years. So you often get confused. Sometimes you build interest in all the subjects, and you are confused. You are in a dilemma where to go. So, what to do in that case?
See, there is confusion. I would say when I was also, there on in his place, I was also confused what to do, what not to do. But I will only suggest him that from all the subjects, there would something from all of them. There'll be that one subject that drives his passion. That one subject where he really likes attending those classes, or there'd be something which is he's passionate about a particular subject. He should keep focus on that, and I'm sure he'll find the path.
Yes, ma'am, that's true. Okay. Ma'am, what do you think about the role of social media in your selling process?
So if you see the current scenario, social media plays the key role.
Right.
If you're there on the social media, if you're active, if you're doing something there, it you there. So Facebook and Instagram, Facebook, I would say, has taken a backseat now. Instagram is the key, to be there. So if you're active on Instagram, you're posting daily something about the product, you will have consumers impacted to you. So social media is the new way to be in the market.
Social media is the new normal, like they say.
Yes, social media is the new normal, like they say.
All right, ma'am. And how do you keep updated on the right market, like target market these days? How do you like stay updated on that?
So as we have our own corporate offices, we also have a back corporate office. So we keep getting letters, and as I am giving, we are here at a webinar. We have a lot of webinars on regular basis regarding the new sales strategies or the sales companies which are coming. Of course, we also go out in the market. So as I'm saying, things are improving. We've also started stepping out, meeting corporates again, and meeting bookers who we used to meet earlier. And of course, social media. Social media is the best way to keep intact
Right.
with the current scenario.
All right, ma'am. So we have another student, Pooja, and she's asking how can we add value to the customer's life, career, or his company? And what are your 4 best tips for designing customer journeys?
Okay. So firstly, we can add value. See, whenever a customer comes, we need to you need to give him time. You need to understand his requirement. The value journey starts from there. So that's how we add value. He's giving you time. So it's his requirement, but still he's taking out time. And time is so important. Nobody has time for each other nowadays. So if he's giving time to you, he is already given you that value. So you also needs to give him that value by giving your time, your energy, and your prompt response. So whatever requirement he has, you need to respond promptly to it. And as she wants to know the 4 points
for designing customer journeys.
Okay, so 4 points to design a customer journeys. The first point is know him well. The second point would be build a relationship. Know him well is that don't think that he's come here and it's only one time business. He'll give you business and he'll go, and it's just a deal. It's only for the, for example, for us it's only for the hotel, or maybe it's only for the college. You need to think that it's a long run relationship. Maybe he never generates business with you, but you're meeting a new person and there's a connect which is happening. So you need to take that connect forward. So you need to build that relationship. Second, as I said, second is building relationship, because that will take you forward. Third is to listen to him, to understand his queries. Maybe sometimes those queries are not for you. It could be related to some other things, but you need to analyze them and see how you can help. And to, whenever he, and the fourth thing is, whenever he calls you, maybe he's not calling you for your product, he wants something else, but you need to fulfill that also. So sometimes guests would call me for, it's an example, they would not want a, a room from me or a banqueting space from me, but he wants to book something at Delhi, Mumbai, or maybe Dubai. So I need to help him with that also. So that kind of a relationship you need to build with him, and then the journey would automatically begin.
Okay. So relation building is the key here.
Yes.
Okay. All right, ma'am. So we have Yassine from BBA, and he wants to know that what were the difficulties that you faced in your career, and how did you manage to get out of those difficulties?
So as I said initially, when I started my career, I from a stewardess I went to a sales resource. So initially, at that time I had not done my MBA. So I was a confused person. I didn't knew what to do, what not, because I didn't know anything about sales. So there was a lot of goof ups also which I did. I sold, my selling skills were wrong. I sold, I was there because I felt sales is more of selling. So I sold the product, and there was miscommunication. Once there was a major guest complaint because I had committed something else, and he felt I've committed something else. So there were a lot of goof ups which happened. And then one of my seniors made me realize that it's not about selling. It's not about selling. It's about how you can fulfill their needs and how you can empathize with them. So the day when he told me this, and I realized that I don't have to only sell. That's how I I became better day by day, and I'm still learning actually.
Okay, ma'am. So, like you were saying that maintaining relationship with the clients is very important, and it's sometimes happens that they want your help for something else, and you still have to help them because that relation is important. So, what do you think that getting new clients is important, or maintaining the relationship with the long-term clients is better?
I think both. You need both. So maintaining your, I'll say first thing is maintaining, because what happens is generally what we do is we don't maintain. So that relationship is not maintained. That client goes to some other place. So that client is already your pie of business. He's already giving you business. He's generating business for you. So you're losing him. So you need to keep intact, and even new clients are very, very important. Somebody who's walking to your place for the first time to buy something is equally important, because that new guest will become, you will build a relationship, and then only he'll become into an old guest once you build that relationship with him. So both have their equal importances, to retain
Okay,
as
both
well
are
as
very
to build.
get new clients. Okay. Ma'am, Iqbal wants to ask, he's from BBA, he has a question that what was your turning point? I mean, there always comes a point where you transform yourself into a different being. So what was that turning point in your life? And then how did it transform you?
Okay, as I told you that I had done a goof up once, so I had committed an internet connection to one of the guests, and the guest felt it is for almost all the guests. So there were about 12 people, and so this was my first interaction with the guest, and it was all goofed up. I almost cried, so I was crying, and I had a senior in F&B services. His name was Mr. Highgreave Carey. He came up to me and he told me a story at that time. He told me that there is this Chinese couple who was going through a boat and there was a lot of flood happening. And to keep their baby alive, they used to cut and slit their hand to feed him with blood so that the kid can survive. So he told me, "Are you in that situation?" And I said, "No, I'm not." They said, "Then why? Why are you crying?" So he told me that everything in this world can be dealt with. You can fight with everything. So think about this, and you can succeed. And that's how I think that was my transformation point. From that point of time, I became more confident, and I realized that everything can be dealt with. So that was my turning point.
We all always have some people in our life who influence us and who transform us. So he was that person in your life.
Yes, he was that person in my life.
Just a simple story and it transformed you.
Yes, it did. It was a simple story, but it transformed me.
Okay, ma'am. All right. So there is another question, and I think it is going to put you in dilemma as well. The student wants to know what is more important, productivity or money?
Well, see, a person like me, productivity, but I'm sure with the current scenario, money. So I'll tell you one
Both
thing.
are actually equally important.
So I'll tell you what. Initially, when you start your career, focus on the productivity. Once you reach my stage, please focus on money. So both are equally important, actually, productivity as well as money.
All right, ma'am. Okay. And during the COVID times, what was your top priority in sales?
So during the COVID time, our priority was to whatever guest we have already on working with. We have customers who are giving us business since 5 years or 4 years. So main thing was to connect with them to make sure they and their families are fine, and to make sure that if they require something, we can help them with. So that was the priority at the time of COVID time to initially start with. Because as I said, business would come once everything will get all right, business will flow. But it's very important to keep those in relationships intact.
Okay, ma'am. All right. There is another question that has been asked by Tosha Saxena from MBA. And he actually is confused that whether the knowledge of product is important, is crucial, or whether the knowledge of the customer is more crucial. How would you want to address this?
So firstly, the knowledge of product is more crucial because knowledge of customer you'll get. If you don't know your product, whatever customer requirements would be there, you would not be able to fulfill them, because customer, you can only keep a customer intact unless you are clearing his queries. But if you're not aware about your own product, you won't be able to clear his queries. So it's important to know first. You know your product first, and then of course, the customer.
Customer. Okay, ma'am. All right. So, ma'am, any experience that you would want to share with us that has happened during the COVID times, um, or generally, that would probably motivate our students?
Okay. I'll share it with the experience which happened during the COVID time. So there was this lockdown, and there was a wedding query we had booked in for 4th of June. So during the lockdown, we had taken permission from the DC office to get that wedding conducted. So it was a first kind of an experience for the guest, as well as it was the first kind of experience for us, because the new normal had come in place. So the entire setup and scenario was changed to serve them. Of course, there was a temperature taken, and then there was the sanitation counters built in. Then there was, instead of the rotational starters, which generally we see wherever we go to weddings, we have done a live counter where we do live starters from. And of course, there are these cones which were there, and there was this distance which had to be maintained from both ends. So this is an experience which I gained. So we learned that, in life, you can learn new things anytime. And there's no, at any age and any time, there's no limit to learn new things. So this was a total new experience with us. I would say that the first time we fumbled because we also didn't know what to do. Guest also didn't know what to do. Both of us were confused, even they and us, both of us. But the second time it was a success. So we changed the entire serving line which we followed earlier.
And I'm sure that that also had many challenges.
It did. See, we have been doing that. A particular pattern has been running in hospitality since ages. So
Right.
it's for about 50, 60 years, you've been doing the same thing. Everybody who's coming is doing the same thing. Because of the pandemic, everything had to change. So any change is good, but not at this level. So it was a complete change. So everybody from the all departments had to change the way. And the new way is, I would like to share it with everyone, is this, that you should be open to do different things. So even if you're in sales, you should be ready to work at different departments and at different places, because you need to be a multitasker now.
In fact, I think we all have dealt with technology also during this pandemic. I'm sure you were already well equipped with the technology, but the colleges and the institutions, we have learned a lot, and we are still learning. And if it has given us something, if COVID has given us something, that is, we have learned a lot of things.
Yes, I think COVID has given us Zoom. It was there. We used to do it earlier also, but a lot of places it was not happening. And now Zoom has become part of everybody's day-to-day routine.
Right, like you said that everything comes with with an experience, and there is always a first time where you fumble, but then you get better with time.
Do better. Yes.
Okay, ma'am, there is another question, and it is, why should students opt for sales career? Any motivational factor to join sales, according to you?
So I'll tell you why you should join sales. Is that you need to meet new people every day. That's one of the major things. Other departments, you're doing just your work, you're sitting on a desk and just doing your work. Sales is the only department where you need to step out, you meet new people every day, you learn, you get to know new experience every day, get to know new journeys every day. So if you're passionate about meeting new people, learning so much, and you learn a lot of about life every day, because you meet new people, new experience. Everybody has a different story to tell.
That's true. That's true, ma'am.
And it's not a boring sitting desk job. So you don't have to sit at one place. You can go out, you can meet new people. So it's a more of a vibrant and young thing, I would say.
Right, ma'am. Okay. So, any guru mantra that you would want to give us and our students, of course.
I one guru mantra I would want to give is that, though it's not a guru mantra, I'm also learning, and I'm not reached that level yet. But I would like to that follow your passion. Whatever you do, be passionate about it. Follow your passion. And I'm still saying it because after a career span of about 10 years, I'm saying this: follow your passion. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing your job passionately, and if you're not passionate about it, and you're just working for the sake of doing it, the results would not come in. You will not be able to close leads. You would not be, forget about leads and anything else. Personally, you will not be happy. You will not be happy about yourself. You will not be happy about your life. And, as nowadays, everybody knows the most important thing is mental health. So do what you're passionate about so that at the end of the day, you're happy. That's the most important thing.
Yes, ma'am, that's true. Passion is very, very important, and mental health, of course, is very important. Even if you are passion driven, but your mental health is not allowing you, then you would have to take a back seat. So you have to maintain a balance. That's true, ma'am. So I'm sure that during, I mean, when you go to your work, you meet a lot of people, and you just feel that every conversation that you are making, or every strategy that you're trying to apply to convert them into actual sales, everything is going in vain. So I'm sure that at the end of the day, sometimes you feel very frustrated. So what do you do in that situation?
Uh, See, this happens sometimes when deals are not closed, and you've given your 100%, and you feel, and you sit and you realize that where did you lack, because generally that's the feeling which sinks in because it's not closed. So that happens. There are days when you're frustrated. Someone personally like me, I'm into a lot of music, and I'm in a lot of books. So whenever something like this happens, I go back home, I read a good book, and I always tell myself that there is a tomorrow. I believe that there is a tomorrow. Tomorrow will come, and it will be better than today.
Okay, ma'am. All right. So I think we are running short of time, so we should just wind up now. And thank you so much for answering all the questions patiently. Students had a lot of queries, and you answered everything. And it was indeed a very, very informative session. And I'm sure that students have also learned heaps about the marketing strategies. On behalf of our Honorable President, Sardar Rashpal Singh Dhaliwal, the Director, Principals, Heads, Faculty, and all the students, I take this opportunity to thank you, ma'am, for sharing so many sales strategies, marketing strategies, and motivating our students to opt this career. And actually, we would have loved to have you here in the college with us and personally interacting with all the students, but the pandemic has overpowered everything. So
I
this
would
is
have loved to come over.
sure, ma'am. We would definitely invite you again whenever the things are better and whenever we can organize such a session. But for now, please accept our heartfelt gratitude for accepting our invitation and gracing this webinar with your
I
presence.
am thankful to Chandigarh Group of Colleges that they've given an opportunity to me to address students. So I'm really thankful to you, and I'm really thankful to you. You've been really, really nice and sweet to me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That's okay. It's our pleasure, and we would love to have you again. So let's just wait for the right time, and I'm sure that students would also be very excited to meet you and learn from you.
Thank
All
you.
right, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining